It is the week of WrestleMania 36, and hands up if you're like, this doesn't feel like WrestleMania at all, because the world has been brought to its knees and nobody knows what is going on. But look, at least we still have some pro wrestling to talk about. If you're a football fan or a basketball fan or a baseball fan, you're just sat on your ass, twiddling your thumbs thinking, what the hell happened to my sport? Here I was just sat, wanted to see somebody hit a ball or throw a ball or kick a ball, and I ain't getting any of it. However, we have had Raw. Raw's done, it's over. It was the go-home show for the showcase of the Immortals, and it's time to take this, the finger of power that's now scratching my head, and give the good bits an up, and the bad bits are down. Spoiler, it's a very, very weird show, but in places, really good. Let's up those downs. Kick things off with the video package for AJ Styles versus The Undertaker, and I tell you, this made me very excited for the Dead Man versus the Phenomenal One, and of course they're going to duke it out in a boneyard. And while I am very excited about that, because listen to the words that just came out of my mouth, I am slightly disappointed we're not going to see this in a traditional sense in front of fans in a proper ring, because I just think there'd be fireworks. I think AJ Styles could have made it happen. When it was done, The Undertaker was stood in a dark room and he started to cut a promo, and this is it. We have found the silver lining through all of this madness. WWE, this is how you have to allow your wrestlers to cut promos from now on. It's intense, it makes me believe, there's no ridiculous scripting, and when every single one is done, I go, oh yeah, I want to see that guy kick somebody's ass. It was easily the best Undertaker promo I've said in years, and he wasn't saying stuff about getting your soul and putting it in your hole. In fact, he was keeping things realer than real, because AJ Styles has been breaking the fourth wall since day one, so now Mark Calloway had decided to do the same thing. So he called AJ Styles Alan Jones and said, hey AJ, you took a long time to get to the WWE, and it's probably because you knew you couldn't compete with the likes of me, with the likes of The Rock, with the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin, with the likes of Shawn Michaels. You were a big fish in a little pond because you couldn't compete with the big boys. He also questioned the size of Mr. Jones's testicles, because why the hell wouldn't you? The Undertaker also admitted that he didn't care about any of this until AJ Styles mentioned his wife, Michelle McCool, even though he knows deep down the only reason AJ is doing this is that the Faith Breaker, which was Michelle McCool's version of the Styles Clash, was the better of the two moves. What a diss. He kept running him down until he told him to rest in peace, and the camera panned outwards and a tombstone came into shot, and can you believe what the name on the tombstone was? That's right, it was Repo Man. No, it was AJ Styles. This was great. I'm not going to pretend there weren't some funny moments in it. Like at one point, The Undertaker said that AJ Styles was going to pay the price in the boneyard, and I started chuckling away. And I also want to know where this gravestone appeared from. Like, has Undertaker been using the lockdown to practice his Premiere Pro video editing skills? Or did he say to the producer of this, hey, producer, make sure, and you'd be like, all right, Undertaker, it's a little like schoolyard, but I'll do whatever you say because you're a very big man. But that's just me being a dick. That's me pulling at straws. It was absolutely fabu, and I want WWE to do this even when we're out the other side. It just works, and it's so just better. And if it does just vanish when things go back to normal, I will cry on the internet. All of this is getting up. Becky Lynch was then driving that massive truck again that we saw a few weeks ago, and as it turns out, the reason this has come into play is because it was meant to be the centerpiece of a Becky Lynch woo-ha-ha, look at that WrestleMania 36 entrance. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do that now, because if she drove that into the Performance Center, she would crush the entire building, and that's actually quite upsetting. It would have been a lot of fun, but I guess at least we're getting our money's worth out of it to some degree. Although why Bex would choose to drive this around, I do not know. How hard must it be to turn a corner? Lynch was then out to cut a promo at the top of the rampway, and she referenced her main event from WrestleMania 35, and I just assumed, oh, they're going to show a little video clip from Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte versus The Man, and instead they played the whole damn match, and somehow it took up the whole hour, the whole rest of the hour of Raw, even though the match itself is only like 22 minutes. What was going on? It's a doubt. That is the power of the commercials, and I totally get that WWE is in a pickle right now, but I just didn't need to see this match again because it's only 12 months old, and a year isn't really that long when you last saw a fight. It's just not. And I kind of felt myself going, I won forward. It does mean for one final time, as WWE showed an old match, we will do wrestling jokes. And if you're asking why, Simon, why would you stop doing wrestling jokes? Well, I'm running out of ideas, and eventually we're going to get to like, why did Vince McMahon eat a steak? and the punchline will be, because he was hungry. See? Rubbish. But why is Brock Lesnar like a horse? Because they both need hay, man. How did The Undertaker get the respect from his peers? He earned it. Give it a sec. Where do the members of D-Generation X plug in their electrical equipment? A socket. And that is why we're done with those. Thanks for coming. When all this was done, we cut back to Becky, who continued on her promo, and I presume she just stood there and watched the whole match, and I really don't understand why we couldn't have just had Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch, Shayna being a major threat to Becky, but Becky being like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna have your number. Because now it's exactly like the Asuka promo, with Becky saying she's terrified about losing her championship because that's what defined her. So if that does happen, how is she supposed to know who she is? These are the same worries she had when she was fighting the Empress of Tomorrow, but I thought the whole point was she beat her, and our confidence was back up through the roof. We've also brought Ronda Rousey into this, with Lynch saying, Shayna Baszler, you've always lived in Ronda Rousey's shadow, so if you can't beat me, you're going back into that hole. I just didn't need it. I was happy with crazy Shayna Baszler going against good guy Becky Lynch. We overbooked. That's what we did. We overbooked. We went to the restaurant and we said we needed 12 chairs, where really we only had 3 people coming. The best bit, however, did come at the end, because we had this really tight shot on Becky Lynch's face, and then from nowhere Shayna Baszler appeared and she put on a choke. And because you could hear Becky going like, it was a little bit like a murder. And when she was knocked out, Shayna just picked up her body and threw her into the announce table. I bet my ass it hurt. Shayna then held the belt over Becky Lynch, which was very strange without a crowd, because you were like, who are you posing to, Shayna? And it was even odder because she just looked off into the distance and didn't move. So 1, she thought she spied a T-Rex and was scared, or 2, she was thinking about an email she sent earlier and was like, oh no, what if it gets misconstrued because I said that thing? What if it gets taken the wrong way? Don't worry, Shayna Baszler, it'll be fine. Aleister Black then beat another jobber, and well done, WWE. You have done it, you have made it work. I now look forward to these, because I know that Aleister Black is going to bust out the black mask, it's going to look really good, and I'm going to go, "Brrrr," which is exactly what I did. I turned into a ghost. He was fighting some guy here called Jason Cade, I think. He did give him a wonderful black mask. Good old Jason sold it like he had been shot. Aleister Black, you get it up. Commentators also reminded us that Black will take on Bobby Lashley this weekend at WrestleMania 36, although they had absolutely no idea why he was. But we know the reason is, stuff just happens. Ever wonder why a penguin just appears from nowhere, even though you have no idea why? Well, sometimes stuff just happens. If you're struggling with everything that's happening on Raw right now, which is understandable, you can call us at 0800 Stuff Just Happens. As always, somebody is waiting to take your call, and it's probably going to be this guy, which leaves you to question, Simon, how am I going to be able to have a chat with a penguin? Well, it's simple. Watch. Hello, penguin. It just told me that it loves me. If you think I regret kissing a penguin, you are damn right. We had a 6-man tag team match then as WrestleMania 36 slowly starts to unfold, because it was Kevin Owens teaming with the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, and they were taking on Seth Rollins, Andrade, and Angel Garza. But alas, Andrade wasn't there. He got injured. He has a rib injury. So Zelina Vega had somebody else up her sleeve, not literally, she wasn't even wearing sleeves, I don't think, but instead Austin Theory from NXT is stepping into this spot. Vega called in the hottest free agent in the world, and now by complete accident, Andrade has become this catalyst for people being called up from NXT too early and somehow getting quite a good spot on the card. Why the hell not? This was really fun too, especially because Owens used the silence to his advantage by shouting out things like, oh, the guy's gonna do a move, look how he's standing. The guy was just tremendous. He was funny, he was entertaining, and really WWE should just let him off the leash and let him do whatever the hell he wants, because he always makes it work. All of this is getting up. It was thanks to Kevin that the team won as well. He smashed Angel Garza with a stunner and got the 1, 2, 3 before, unfortunately, he kind of had his head down like this, and Seth Rollins ran in and curb stomped his skull right into the mat. Which goes to show, if you are feuding with Seth Rollins, you have to be very aware of your surroundings. There was also this nut spot when Montez Ford dived over the top rope. Austin Theory was meant to catch him. Austin Theory did not catch him, and Montez hit that rampway so hard, I thought his back had smashed into 1,000 smithereens. For some reason, Austin Theory still sold this, like he had been hit, but honestly, I was scared. I was really scared. I was like, oh my gosh, Montez Ford is dead. It was the first proper match of the evening though, and it was a damn hoot. And we weren't even done, because after Kevin Owens had recovered, he had a few choice words for Seth Rollins. He got the microphone, and boy howdy, he scores it up. He did this sitting down, which again just added something to it, and it was so compelling because of the way it was presented. Also, because of all the craziness out there in the real world, WWE seems to have an edict at the moment the wrestlers are allowed to break the fourth wall constantly, because that's what KO did here. He mentioned everything that Rollins had brought up last week, but said that Seth was absolutely delusional. Because while he may think he built FCW, and he may think he built NXT, Kevin Owens went and did some digging. He went and did some questioning. As it turned out, Seth Rollins almost brought all this down because he was a nightmare to deal with and everybody hated his guts. If you do go out there and do your research, there does seem to be a huge part of truth in that. And then KO even called Seth Rollins a dipshit. Now, his words, not mine. But he then brought up the fact that he won all these championships, and 9 times out of 10 when that had happened, he had someone in his corner, but he's man enough to admit that. And you know who's not? Seth Rollins, who has also had someone in his corner every time he has won a championship. This is also true. Kevin Owens was spitting fire. All that matters now, though, is that on Saturday, Kevin Owens will be the first man to take a WrestleMania from Seth Rollins, because of course the man who likes to burn things down has never lost at the Showcase of the Immortals. This was intense, this was real. I've already said how much I enjoyed this promo style, and it went on for quite a long time, but I sat there intently and listened to every single word. I didn't even do that in school. I'm now doing it on Raw. And then Edge followed it up with yet another superb promo. Do I have to repeat all the things I just said? No, I don't. Give it up. And once more, he was staring down the camera lens, being really, really intense. He was in a dark room for reasons that don't make any sense, but it looks good, so we'll give it a free pass. And he said, Randy Orton, you were wrong last week. I don't have an ego thing for Edge. I'm not obsessed with Edge. What I do love is the connection that I have with the fans. And when my music hits and they all go ballistic, it makes me feel alive. And that's what I live for. And the reason it means so much to him when the fans do go crazy is because he used to be a fan. So it's essentially his life coming full circle. He then started talking about grit again, because this whole feud has been about grit, and he reminded Randy that grit isn't about being offered a place in Revolution and just coasting on your laurels. Grit is about turning that position down and carving a Hall of Fame career from yourself using your own back. Ultimately, he has the passion and Orton doesn't, and it eats the viper up inside. Because just listen to the people, Randy. Listen to what they're saying. All of a sudden, Randy Orton is back on top, doing some of the best work of his career. And that's because Edge brings something out of the man whose voice is in his head that nobody else does. And that just pisses Randy Orton off. So in short, the junkie here is Orton. And he's a junkie for the way Edge makes him feel. My gosh, this was fantastic. It really was, and is proof that WWE can tell you a really good story and make sure that you are properly engaged. So let's just copy and paste this across the board and stop doing the whole, hey man, do you want to fight? Yeah, I'd like to fight. I can have a fight? Okay, cool, I'll see you in a few days. Well done, Edge, you smashed it. Asuka then asked some jobber who they were, asked why they were even going to have a match, tapped them out in around about 32 seconds, and then went to commentary and danced for a little bit. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's not just an up, it's an Asuka up. She's also getting the SVP award, which I introduced a few weeks ago and then completely forgot about, but of course it's Simon's valuable player. Because who has been better than Asuka when WWE has been going through all this craziness? She's been on every single show, she's been working as many matches as she can, and she has taken her entertainment level and dialed it up to 9,000. So well done, Asuka, you are my SVP this week. We then got shown some footage from earlier in the day from outside the Performance Center, where Rhea Ripley was walking along and then she got attacked by Charlotte. Now, some of these feuds were always going to be dented a little bit or have their momentum killed because of the craziness, and unfortunately, this is one of them. I don't feel nothing. This felt like an afterthought. I'm not saying it sucked, but it was just there, and it needs more, and it's a down. What was weird is that after Charlotte had thrown Rhea Ripley into a gate, she said, I'll see you at WrestleMania, and walked off, and Rhea Ripley got up and went, yeah, you will. What do you do? Don't answer the question politely. Go on there and whoop her ass. She just took your skull and tried to break it. Like I say, this one is just, well, it's just an afterthought. I just said that, I'm saying it again. We then got the whole match from Survivor Series 2019 between Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio. And of course, now we have retired WWE/wrestling jokes. I was like, what can I do instead? And then it hit me like a wave. I'll take inspiration from Doc Brown and we will go back to the past. And I have found some exclusive footage from an old Ups and Downs episode when this match took place. So please do enjoy. Hello, sports entertainment fans. It's Reginald Miller here with another episode of Ups and Downs for Survivor Series, where Brock Lesnar has taken on Rey Mysterio. And after a frankly cracking contest, The Beast, Brock Lesnar, the WWE Champion, was able to slay the small Rey Mysterio, but I tell you, there was a whooping and a hollering in the crowd, and it was a wonderful time all around. Rey Mysterio's son Dominic also got involved like some kind of fool, but I guess that just shows the type of family the Mysterios are. They love each other and they want to win, but of course when you're trying to take out someone like Brock Lesnar, it's not going to work. He's really, really tall. Rey Mysterio and his son are not as tall, and therefore they never stood a chance. In an interview afterwards, the advocate for Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, said it was a momentous day and he was going to go home and spend a quiet Sunday evening with his family while watching the old telly box. Reginald Miller here for Ups and Downs. I will see you very soon. All of this led into our show closing promo, which did come from Paul Heyman as Brock Lesnar stood by his side. And much like every other promo we had on this show, it was just flipping great. It's getting it up. Ah, damn it. Heyman didn't want to break the fourth wall, but as we've already established, that is the theme for this year's WrestleMania 36 build, and he went and did it anyway. And he explained to us what the go-home edition of Raw was, and then said, hey, look, if you go and watch all of the last few go-home editions for WrestleMania 36 here on Raw, who is standing next to me? Who is the champion? Who has demolished everybody that has stood in their way? That's right. It's Brock Lesnar. And he ain't wrong, that's 100% true. And he even went on to say that he understands that Drew McIntyre is special. Not only is he special compared to the guys in the locker room, which is saying something, but obviously it stands to reason, that he's more special than the guy in the gym who stands there lifting some weights going, I could do that WWE stuff. I was like, all right, Paul Heyman, I do like the gym, and I'm trying to get better as a wrestler. You didn't need to take shots to this. I thought it was really mean. I thought it was really unnecessary. And especially given what's going on out there, you kind of hurt my feelings just a little bit. That's right, Mum. Paul Heyman has just said some very mean things about me when I'm trying so hard. What do you mean you don't know who Paul Heyman is? What do you mean I'm a wuss? I hate you. Forget all of that though, because do you know who else was special? The Rock. Do you know who was special? Shane Carwin. Do you know who else was special? Randy Couture, The Undertaker, John Cena. All these dudes were considered special, but when they came up against Brock Lesnar, what did Brock Lesnar do? He ripped off their head, he took down his pants, he pooped down their neck, and now they're nothing but a memory, or they're nothing but an L on Lesnar's record. So when we are getting ready next year for WrestleMania 37, Paul Heyman will still be here, Brock Lesnar will still be here, the gold will still be here, and the only difference will be when they're running down names, Drew McIntyre is added to that list. And you want to know why? Because Drew McIntyre is gonna be Brock Lesnar's bitch. So effective, so good. Paul Heyman seemed to be on another level here and wanted to guarantee that he would smash us out the park. These are some of the best promos we have seen on Raw in around about 12,000 years. Unfortunately, we do have to end with a down, because as good as all these promos were, they would have been 1,000 times better had they been spread out over the last few weeks. When we did get to the end of 180 minutes, I was like, oh my gosh, Raw was essentially 3 hours of somebody speaking into my face. And one, again, you know, the law of diminishing returns, the more you give me, the less I'm going to enjoy it. But also, I think you need to have more faith in your talent, WWE. They can easily put on good matches, even without fans. You just got to think of a way to make it work. And we didn't do that here. So yeah, I had to, you know, by the end of it, I was like, it's getting a little bit boring. I feel like I need a bit of a oomph, a little bit of something, because man, down. I also want to tie something else into this down, so it's not getting its separate one. But before we got to the Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman segment, WWE did indeed run down the WrestleMania 36 card, and they are still telling us it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. Now, there is no way that that match is happening, because Roman went on his Instagram yesterday and did a video explaining all of this, and I just think that's unfair. I get that it's card subject to change, but this isn't card subject to change. This is a match actually not existing, but WWE still going, oh, if you pay some money, you're going to get to see it. And I don't think that's fair. I'm doubly on this note, and it really, really did piss me off. Roman Reigns said in said Instagram video that some people have been calling him a coward for pulling out of WrestleMania 36. Are you kidding me? Are people crazy? How can you put a man's life and a man's family and a man's well-being on less of a level or less of a pedestal than competing at WrestleMania 36? I love wrestling. I think wrestling is one of the best things in the world, but anyone who thinks it's about Roman Reigns, I will come and kick your ass. That's right, I will find you and I will kick your ass. You're human trash. Respect the man, respect everything he's done, and for Pete's sake, respect his health and respect his safety. Roman Reigns, if you ever do see this, which I don't think you will, I am 100% behind you. Ignore these jabronis, ignore these Poindexters, ignore these schmucks. They are idiots, they don't know what they're talking about. Come on, Roman Reigns. Everybody calm down. But with all that said, the last episode of Raw before WrestleMania 36 is now in the books. And of course, it wasn't one of the good ones for reasons you already know, but I'm still going to give it an up on my overall arrow because I'm so excited about what we can do with these promos going forward. Now, WWE will ruin them and run them into the ground. I'm just going to enjoy today because who knows what tomorrow will bring. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you very much for watching. And yes, this is the schedule for those asking in terms of WWE. We up those downs for SmackDown, then we up those downs for WrestleMania Night 1 on Sunday, and then we up those downs for WrestleMania Night 2 on Monday. It's going to be a crazy time, but I hope to see you there.